Everybody, welcome back to the show. So this is Percy Jackson and the Olympians, season one, episode one. And I'm calling this the road to season two, Sea of Monsters. So right away, I want to say that the TV series is legions better than the films. It wasn't really hard to do. Like the movies when they came out, they were piggybacking off the success of the Harry Potter films, which made sense at the time. However, Percy Jackson is nothing like Harry Potter. They had the trio of Percy, Annabeth, and Grover, like Harry, Hermione, and Ron. So they were really banking on that, and I think it worked at the time. But box office numbers didn't really reflect the success of those films, which is why it was canceled after two. When we look at the TV show, everything from the cast to actually following the books, it's 10 times better than anything the movies could have possibly done. But the movies, they skipped a lot of important shit, and that was in the books. Like he's 12 in this, and they had freaking Logan Lerman's like 20-something-year-old ass playing a high school kid, playing a freaking 12-year-old. I'm like, no. I hadn't read the books at the time of the movies, but as soon as I saw the show, as soon as I saw with the cast of Percy Jackson, I'm like, this is legions better than the films. There's just so much more you can do with TV than you can on film. I mean, it is because the movies they just jumped around to like he's in school, then he's in Cap Half Blood, and then he's going out to freaking Hades to save his mother and stuff. And like, there's a whole bunch of important stuff that happens in between that they just left out completely. And they started pretty far back with Percy Jackson. Like Harry Potter was like 9 or 10, I think, in the books and the films when they started those movies. So he's about 13 here. You look at the season two trailer, he looks like he had a crazy ass growth spurt. Because he sounds like grown ass man in the trailer. So like the whole thing with Percy Jackson was mixing Greek mythology with the modern world. Like Harry Potter does similar things, so I get why they try to bank on that, but you'll see things like the Empire State Building, which is a mask for Mount Olympus, or Hollywood, which is basically the underworld, represents the underworld and leads to the underworld. But like, you're not gonna see Hades as his like big demon thing. He's gonna be like a dude in a suit and tie, because that's what Devil does. He masks himself as a beautiful creature, and that's what he does. It was like the movies went more for spectacle and less for story, which is why they failed, I believe. Looking back on them, I still enjoy Sea of Monsters in particular. But like some things just didn't really make sense in the movies. They jumped around way too much. At least with the show. I think there's like 5 or 6 books. So this is Percy Jackson, the Olympians, the Lightning Thief. Season two is going to be Sea of Monsters. I don't remember what the third book is called. I think it's the Labyrinth or something. And they cast the late Lance Reddick as Zeus. So they're probably gonna have to recast him. I don't remember if Zeus is in the books that much, so it might not be a big deal. I don't think he appears that much in the books outside of Lightning Thief. So they might not have to worry about that too much. One thing I did like in the movies was how Percy left Medusa's head in the fridge and she turned his stepdad to stone. That was kind of cool. At the time of the movies, I was kind of a newcomer to the series. I had no idea what it was. I love the cast for Percy in particular. And this crazy teacher right here is, yeah, that's right, Mrs. Dots. Turned into some kind of like flying creature or something. Ah, yes. His China turns to a sword, Riptide. So like, right out the gate, you can see that he and Grover are already friends, which I like. Because like the movies, they took this ridiculous modern turn. Like when Grover and them went to the underworld, Grover, of course, was trying to be the typical black guy, all hood and stuff, and just like, dude, just give him the freaking coins. They were talking to the shit, what's his name? The guy that ferries the dead to the underworld. Can't remember. Fortunately, they handled it a lot better in the TV series. So someone's going for a swim. It's like it's a process. Like this kid learns doesn't learn overnight to use the son of Poseidon. It's a process. This is what I like about the show. Like in the movie, they just go from A to Z and just and becomes this creepy teacher. Because all these monsters are looking for the Zeus's lightning bolt. Of course, I think he had it because he's the son of Poseidon. This guy, I thought the principal was Hades first when I first saw the show. It was like again with the Percy Jackson books. the gods meet with humans, and their children are half god, half human, which is what Percy is, son of Poseidon and all that. Then you got Annabeth, who is a daughter of Athena, I believe. Talia, who is the daughter of Zeus. Luke is the son of Hermes, which is how he was able to get to the underworld to get the. In the second movie, Luke went to the underworld apparently with the Tartarus apparently, and got the remains of Kronos. And that was a cool sequence, but completely out of order as far as like going by the books. It's like this is why I always petition for TV show over film because you can really dive into the characters in ways you really can in the movie. Like, I always love seeing conflicting characters. Like, oh, stop! I'm not some special kid. I'm just a guy. That type of thing. They were like a hero. I always love those types of stories. It was like in Harry Potter, not to compare too much, but Harry also goes through that type of thing. Like all of a sudden, this giant dude shows up at his family's house and tells him like, "You're a wizard, Harry, and you're also rich." Like I'm really excited to see these characters grow over the course of this series. Season two's on the way. Hopefully, it gets renewed for a couple more seasons. I want to see all the books adapted on TV. Such a waste to put this on film. Such a waste. They had just done this from the beginning. Could be on like season five by now. Because like the reason his mother married this guy is to hide his scent from the monsters that were looking for him. And you got that part right in the movies, but one was kind of hot too. So there's that too. Damn. Like he's just not figuring his stuff out, which is what I like about the TV show taking its time and really grasping the concept of the books that the films miss completely. They, as a kid, they just realized that some crazy shit is happening to him. Should tell him what it is. They go back and forth between the present and the future. If I remember correctly, I think he's looking at Hades in this particular sequence. I don't remember if he encounters him in this season, maybe towards the end. I know they cast Edge as Ares, which is actually pretty funny. Remember in the movie, like they didn't do any of this, like him talk with his mom and stuff like that, conflict with his emerging abilities. They skipped all of that in the movies. Next thing you know, his mom's being taken to freaking the underworld, and he's like, "Can't have blood," and then like, I gotta go get a Kyron and stuff like that. Very little build up to it. It just went from A to Z. Because of why those films failed overall. And they're still kind of enjoyable, I guess, if we just shut your mind off. But when it comes from book to film, I think TV is the way to go. Harry Potter might be one of the few exceptions. I will see how that new TV show goes, but I think Harry Potter in particular should stay on film. Fantastic Beasts would be good on TV because it's a smaller story. See, I like how they're having this conversation about his father Poseidon. Don't think we see him in the season. Don't remember. We'll get there. Because they mix up Greek mythology with the real world. So when she says his father was a god, he thinks she's talking literally about God. That's the only confusing thing about the Percy Jackson book is that it's not completely set in a mythological world. It's blended in with Greek mythology and the modern world. I think that's what made it a hard sell for the movies, and why it makes complete sense that he would struggle to accept this revelation. Right, this show is just so well done. I'm really impressed with how this was done. Now stuff is about to get moving here because just like in the movie, they got to rush to get to Camp Half Blood because they got a monster on their tail. I don't remember if this how accurate this is with the books, but the show's been pretty spot on. Like there's a lot of silly stuff in the books with Percy Jackson, like monster volleyball and stuff like that. So I really want to see the House of Hades adapted at some point. That could be really cool. So hopefully these upcoming seasons get some good ratings. 'Cause I want to see these characters grow. This is the part where his mother gets captured, taken to the underworld. Looks like she gets killed, but she just disappears. So his mother can't go with him to Camp Half Blood because she's a human. Like there's a barrier that's built around Camp Half Blood because of what happened to Talia. Another thing they got right in the movies, really. Now, his parting with his mother reminds me of the Phantom Menace when Anakin's mother told him to be brave and not look back. Those are the vibe I'm getting from this particular sequence. It's funny, like spent like maybe 10 minutes with his mother and are already feeling just as distraught as Percy is in this scene. So kudos to the writers and the actors. So the Minotaur just transported her to the underworld. So now she's Hades' prisoner. I love the way it did Riptide in this. I actually like the way Riptide was designed in the film, especially Sea of Monsters. And it makes sense that he would get his ass beat because he's not a fighter. I think he actually ends up killing this thing. Maybe not. So we did kill the Minotaur. I like the effect of the monsters when they turn to dust. And then in House of Hades, he ends up seeing all the monsters that he killed over the years. It's like Batman going to Arkham Asylum and seeing all the villains that he put away. And here it is, Camp Half Blood. It was a good episode. So stay tuned for more commentaries in the future on the road to season two, season Sea of Monsters.